Five, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Drag racing fans, wait a minute. Just like drinking Monster Energy drink, it is time for the Competition Plus Power Hour, and it is time for us to burn some nitro, to smell the nitro, to fill Florida with more great drag racing than it had last weekend. And it is the time to kick off another great year of NHRA drag racing. Man, my name is Slam and Sam. I am one part of the show here tonight as we bring on somebody that's very familiar to this show. Lee is taking a night off, and we're going to bring on someone who needs no introduction, who is a part of the Competition Plus family, and that is Mr. Darren Williams Jr. himself. What's up, Darren?
How's it going, man? We are back. Nitro is back, man. I'm excited. Gator Nationals this weekend. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to believe. Like as I sit here and get ready for the show, or pull open my laptop, it's like, man, it's like here we are, another year of talking drag racing. Here we are, another year after like our show that we had last week um of talking, the March meet, or talking, a drag illustrated event, or the baby gators. I mean, it's just amazing to see what drag racing is evolving to, what drag racing is becoming, and the illustrations and everything that we have to look forward to year after year.
No, for sure. And you talk about it, the NHRA starts this weekend, but this past weekend we had drag racing. We had drag racing on one coast in Florida, and we had drag racing all the way on the other coast in Central California, I guess you could say, in two different type of cultures. You talk about, eighth mile door slammers on the East Coast, and you had quarter mile nitro racing on the West Coast. And so two great events. And I say both races lived up to the hype. I would say so.
For sure, and anyone that's been following along of the shows that we've been having, I've been talking about races that have traction, or that need traction, and I think both races that we had this past weekend were something that already have traction. I mean, 65th year of the March meet, right?
Yes,
The
sir.
World Door Slammer National. I mean, not Door Slammer, the World Series of Pro Mod. That's an event that we've had in the past there in out in Denver on the mountain at Bandamere. We took 2 years off and went down to the home that Ozzy Moya built down in Orlando. And you had 2 years of the World Door Slammer Nationals. And now you're back at Bradenton, and you're back having um, the World Series of Pro Mod. So when and Wes Buck and the gang there, they did a phenomenal job with promoting that first and foremost, of saying it's going to be the biggest, the baddest, the richest race, and that these drivers, this is what they should be racing for. And I don't think, some people may say, oh well, that's a popularity contest, and I gave them a little grief on the show last week about that, but I also do believe that when you put on a race like that, and you're able to have, a second chance race for $10,000, and you have this class running for this much, and that is the biggest and the baddest race that we have, because that, I mean, for those guys and girls that were out there, that's the most money that some of them are going to race for, unless it's a grudge race.
And I'll tell you what, Wes Buck knows how to promote a drag race. He does that very well. And I'll tell you what, so I was at the March meet this past weekend, and of course, covering that race with Bobby and Les Mayhew of Nitro America. But there was a lot of like good drama as far as like on track at the World Series of Pro Mod, and we had a winner win from the number 32 spot. How about that? And I know you were following along on that, and fill us in, man. We had some great action out there.
I mean, this is my thing. When you have, and we can talk about this race completely, but when you have a guy named Richard Freeman, who, obviously owns Elite Motorsports, he comes out in the car and he qualified, he's on the pole. I mean, that's huge. Like,
Yeah.
that's huge. Then you have pro mod class that I think is from I think the top 32, or the field was, I think, a .07
Yeah.
difference. I mean,
Yeah.
you have a close field like that. You have chip draws, you have rivalry night, you have grudge races. I mean, not to, and then I'm gonna let you have yours to talk about the March meet, but you have Lyle Barnett basically telling J.R. Gray that, man, I've stole so much money from you in the last 2 months. Are you sure you're going to be able to make your mortgage payment? Like that, I mean, that's huge. You have J.R. Gray, sneaking over to pull hair out of Lyle Barnett's beard to, give him some luck. I mean, Erica Enders qualifies number 4 in her field. And then, like you said, I mean, the winner of the whole race of the Promont race was on the bump. I mean, this
Yeah.
guy, that's what you call someone that's not just a driver, someone that's in tune with himself and just takes it round by round. And that's what it's all about. I mean, and you have Joe Costello out there, you have who else did they have? Jason Logan out on the ones and twos. You had the voice of drag racing. I don't care who you are, what you think, or who you believe in. You have Al Tucci on the microphone. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. And I think more than what you said there is that Wes Buck and the Drag Illustrated crew know how to throw a drag race. I don't think it's really a drag race. I mean, yes, there is a lot of racing, but they throw a party, and that's what you want a race to feel like, is just an old school party. And I think that's what you guys down there had in the March meet. And if you're catching on to my vibes here tonight, rocking a whole lot of PDRA
I see
team.
that.
I'm just gonna say,
I see
I'm
that.
gonna say this, man. Team PDRA came out, the Tyler Crossno crew, and they came out and they showed out. I mean, shout outs to them, shout outs to the PDRA, shout outs to everybody that went out there and just had fun. To the media people, I saw videos of guys dancing on the starting line, and that's what it's all about. Is drag racing does not have to be button ups and square ties and everything, and um, we need to let loose, and I hope to see that a little bit more with the grudge racing style that we're seeing in the different classes, and just let everyone's character show. But
Mhm.
I can ramble. I can literally talk about this event all night if we want to.
Yeah.
But I want you to tell us. We're gonna shift to you,
Yeah.
and want you to tell us what you had down there at the March meet.
Well, before I do that though, like Lee, Sam, come back here real quick because I want you to just shout out
Nah,
the winners
wait a
list.
minute.
What's up?
Wait a
What's
minute.
up?
Wait a minute. You did not. You did
We
not just call me Lee. You
I
did
mean, I meant
not just
Sam.
call me Lee. Nah, there's no, like, I can see how Lee may call you, me Darren and you, but you just called me. You just
You know,
called
you know
me.
why? You know why? I was with Lee for the past 4 days. From Friday to Monday, I've been saying Lee, Lee, Lee all day.
I'm
So basically, if
sorry.
anybody doesn't know, Lee came with me to the March meet. It was Lee's first March meeting. He had an amazing time. He enjoyed it. He says it's a drag race that everybody has to attend at least once. But yeah, I was with Lee basically from morning to night for the last 4 days. So just kind of like Lee's in my vocabulary right now, I guess you could say.
So, for the mountain motor class, the mountain motor pro stock, Mr. John Montecavo, he won
Yes,
that
sir.
class. I don't want to mess up this name. I'm not even going to say the name, but in extreme front wheel drive, David, I'm just going to spell it NGO. I don't know how you say that. I'm not even going to try to say it. So, David won that class. Melanie Salemi won the second chance shootout, and for that, Lenny Latagi, I think that's how you say it. Um, he won in the factory stock class. So, and then Spencer Hyde, like I said, coming from the
Number
tail of the
32
pack,
spot. Man.
from being on the bump, from how else could you say it? You know, from coming out from the cow manure, way back in the back row, swinging for the fence. This man was down in the Super Bowl. This man had his backs against the ropes, and he came out and swung and fought, and
Mhm.
takes home the big check. So, um, yeah, I mean, some tough racing too. Some people went out that you didn't think were going to go out in different rounds. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, you had Erica Enders and Richard Freeman go out in the first round.
Mhm.
So, Scott, I did get to speak to Scott Malpass when he was down there. He enjoyed it. He said the second chance race was just as good as the first race. You had Antron Brown walking out on the facility. I mean,
Awesome.
just a lot of people checking it out. You're in Florida. It's that time of the year. Everyone's migrating down there to get ready for another season. So, yeah.
Well, while you guys were having fun on the East Coast, we were having a party on the West Coast as well. 65th running of the Good
Okay.
Vibrations Motorsports March Meet, man.
So I
Nitro
gotta ask
overload. Nitro overload.
you. You talked about being with Lee. So
Yeah.
here's like our insider moment, or we're gonna even say our peak pit notes.
Mhm.
Should we break to that commercial first, the peak, and then you can give us some peak insight of what Lee's like, or should we save that to later?
Uh, let's save it to later. Let's save it to later. Let's do it for later. We'll do it for later.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay, yeah.
But
But
nah, man, what an amazing weekend this past weekend at the March Meet. Obviously, you guys know this is one of the biggest and longest running races in the history of drag racing. And I tell you what, they put on a show. Blake Bowser and his whole crew did an amazing job from track prep to everything. The rain tried to rain on our parade Sunday afternoon, but we got it in on Monday. The race was pushed into Monday. We still got it in. Unfortunately, Top Fuel will run their eliminations out at the California Hot Rod Reunion in October. So it'll be 2 races in one. But the classes that did races on Monday, they put on the show. And first off, let's kick it off in Nitro Pro Comp. And the storyline in Nitro Pro Comp was Eiley Stafford. As you guys all know, Eiley Stafford is the wife of James Day. Eiley Stafford, the number for her is 7 is the charm. Lucky number 7. She had been in 6 final rounds before this and finally got her first career win in her 7th final round, driving for Mark Boyan. And how about this? Donnie Couch, her crew chief. You look at that rear engine top fuel dragster winning at Nitro Pro Comp. Congratulations to her. You think of like Rob Bruins, Gary Beck, Shirley Muldowney, Connie Coletta. When you see a dragster like that. So congratulations to Eiley Stafford. First career win, got it at the March Meet in her 7th final round. Then the next storyline, we move to AA Fuel Altered, the Nitro Mamba, Mark Why Not. So the story behind him was redemption. Last year, Mark Why Not was in the final round at the March Meet. His opponent in the other lane, Dan Hicks, smoked the tires right at the hit. Mark Why Not was out there, seemed like he was on his way to his first March Meet win, but the car quit at around half track, and it allowed Dan Hicks to drive around for the win. Mark Why Not comes back a year later, gets his redemption, takes out Johnny West in the final round, and picks up the March Meet win. And then finally, the story and Nitro Funny Car. Bobby Cottrell driving for the legendary Bucky Austin gets it done once again. Bobby Cottrell picks up his 5th March Meet win, ties. Let me put myself back on the screen. Bobby Cottrell ties Big Daddy Don Garlits for 5 March Meet wins. How about that? Tying the legend Big Daddy Don Garlits. And we talk about all the time. Bobby Cottrell dominates Nostalgia Funny Car in the Heritage Series, but this weekend it was not so smooth. That team started off the weekend with a fire in testing on Thursday. They had a setback, had to come from behind, was solid in qualifying, but then went straight to the top in qualifying in the final qualifying session on Saturday afternoon. Was solid in round number 1, solid in round number 2. But in the semifinals, Cottrell stepped up, took down Tony Gerardo on a hole shot in the semifinals, 578 to a 582 to a quicker but losing 578 from Gerardo in the final round, taking on Tim Boychuk. Unfortunately, Tim Boychuk from Canada could not make the run, and Bobby Cottrell picks up his 5th March Meet win, tying the legendary Big Daddy Don Garlits. What a weekend out in Bakersfield.
That's awesome to hear. That's awesome to hear. Is some great racing that's already starting here this year. You know what I mean? It always is good to, I think, kick it off on the right foot. Kick it off. You know what I mean? With some big numbers, with people tying records and record breaking years and different things like that. But I have a feeling this year is like, this is going to be one of those years, and maybe this is a bold prediction, but NHRA, we've seen the records get close to. We're tiptoeing on who's going to be the first to 300 in the 8th, and who's going to do this and who's going to do that. Well, if the Gator Nationals hold true to what they are, we're usually expecting weather. I haven't looked at the weather forecast, but you know what? I'm going to pull it up right here in front of me right now and look at Gainesville, Florida weather. I'm literally pulling it up right now as we speak. Like I'm typing. If you see my eyes moving, I'm typing to see what is the weather going to be like here this week, and we're looking Friday. We're looking a little chance of rain, right? Saturday is sunshine. Sunday is sunshine. So if things hold out, and let's see how much rain we're supposed to get on Friday. When participate, you got a 40% chance of weather on Friday. Now, Darren, with that being said, it's
Mhm.
going to be a whopping 80 degrees, 78 degrees. So it's going to be not, it's not going to be cold as it was last year, but it's going to be still for, I guess, tiptoeing on the 80s. We can still see some things, especially with the weather and the air, right now. Who do you think, like I said, looking at this right now, who do you think is going to come out and try and make a statement right away? I like what Mike Ashley says.
Yeah, forget rain. Rain, rain, go away. We have rain at the March meet. No more rain. I don't like rain. No rain at a drag strip. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Mike Ashley's here. He wants to see his youngster tonight.
Man, but to answer your question though, to come out and make a statement. So first off, you got to look at Antron Brown. Antron, when Brian Karate left that team, that team dipped for a few years, right? And Brian Karate comes back, and it's Brian Karate, it's Mark Oswald, Antron Brown, the trio's back together. But it doesn't kind of start off like you thought it would. They still kind of struggled. Antron gets his own team. First half of 2022, still struggling. But that back half of 2022, I'll tell you what, winning Topeka, winning the U.S. Nationals, winning Charlotte, running in the 360s for the first time in a few years. I feel like Antron Brown is back as a driver. I feel like they're back as a team. Antron Brown, I believe, gets back into championship contention here in 2023. But also, do not count out our guest here tonight, Justin Ashley. Going into Las Vegas with the points lead, not coming out with the championship, I feel like they are coming back and they're going to come out swinging here in 2023. And I think he is one of the clear front championship favorites here in the top field class. And of course, you got to go with the reigning champ, Brittany Forrest. She's going to try to make a statement. And of course, our guy, Steve O and the Capco boy, Steve Torrance, 4 championships in a row. His reign was, he was dethroned last year, and I think he wants to get that title back. So those are kind of the team and drivers I'm looking at to start off 2023.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, you got people saying right away as soon as I drop that question is the Capco boys, right? Um, and I think I think after an article that I read this year, or not, I shouldn't even say this year, a little bit ago before I got on the show, is that Steve Torrance is basically coming out.
You broke up. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
He's saying that he's coming out this year, and it's all about beast mode.
Oh,
There's
for sure.
he's got his eye on the prize. He's got his eye on the prize, and he's here to make a statement. So many people, and I think with the season that he had last year, he got sick of being asked the question. And I think when we went to Brainerd, he doubled down in Brainerd. He went back to back there last year, and then this year, and then he set it up on the top end when he was in Indy, right? They laughed at us all year, but we got the money. So who's laughing now? I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
to come out and win, the Pep Boys. But I like what Mike Ashley says here. Success is not the goal. Greatness is the goal. Like, that's
Mhm.
huge. It's statements like that. And that whole family and that whole team, that's what they live by is, yeah, they
Mhm.
want the small accomplishments, but each week you're still, no matter what happens, no matter what, when people say, well, Justin Ashley went out first round. Well, yeah, he may have went out first round, but what else did he do to put himself in a championship contention? What else has he done, to make himself better, to provide more opportunities for his team? And I think that's what it takes.
Mhm.
Um, Dragster Jeff comes in with a comment that says Proc, Caps, Cruz, and Erica. I mean, Austin Proc, I think, he ended the season very strong. You can't count him out there. He's definitely got a new crew chief with Tobes being gone. So he's got something to prove there. Caps too. I mean, Caps has, you know, he has championship on his back. Do Robert Height, he's gonna be right there behind him and want to dive into it and take it. Cruz Pedregon, the cruiser, the snap on boys. I think it's for me personally, that's an uphill battle, and that's nothing against them. I think that they're just working some things out, and I think that, like you said, they may come out swinging for the fence, but right now I just see that as an uphill battle. And Erica, if Erica comes out with a bigger chip on her shoulder than she did last year,
Mhm.
that's going to be scary. Like, I don't care who you are, I don't care what you're driving. If she comes out with a bigger chip on her shoulder than she did last year, that's going to be hard to compete with.
Mhm. In terms of like Robert Height and Erica Enders, like we all know, great seasons last year for both. Robert Height, 8 wins last year, had the points lead for much of the season. Unfortunately, didn't come out with that championship. And Erica, 10 wins, one of only 3 pro stock drivers to win 10 or more races in a single season, joining Daryl Alderman, Jed Coughlin, and Greg Anderson. So that's some elite company right there. No pun intended. Some elite company. See what I did there? But come on, you got to laugh, Sam. You got to laugh anyway. But anyway, I just think, from that standpoint, it's going to be pretty hard to back up those performances, with just how competitive each class is. I don't know if they can back that up, but I'll tell you what, you mentioned Austin Prock. I think it was, who was that? Jackster Jeff that mentioned Austin Prock. John Force Racing, I mean, really playing musical chairs with the crew chiefs. You got Chris Cunningham. When Ron Tober leaving, you got Chris Cunningham going over to Austin Prock. You got Max Savage, who was with Brittany Force, going over to John Force. And you have Thomas Prock being elevated to be co-crew chief with Jimmy Prock on the Auto Club Chevy. So John Force really mixing up the crew chiefs, the crew chiefs at least, in 2023.
But I mean, that's something that we kind of expect out of John Force Racing, though, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they bring people in, they build them up, and they continue to build them up. And with his, I don't want to say revolving door, but with the opportunities that they have within that team, within that stable, it's easier for them to bring someone up or move someone in that they already know. I mean, yeah, you can go out and look, but if you've been training this person and like, you don't have to teach someone or understand someone's mentality if you're trying to teach him. And I think with moving people around, they already know the people. You already know who you're going to be working around, what you're doing, what their attitude is like. Now you're just sliding that person into another role, and if that person's ready for that opportunity. So was that a surprise to many people? No, I don't think so.
Well, what was a surprise to me though, what was really glaring is you have David Grubnick and Max Savage, who've been together for a couple years now, and I mean have been a great tandem on Brittany Force's Monster Energy Top Fuel Dragster. But you move Mac and David Grubnick, who could just come off a championship, and move Mac to John Force's team. I think that's going to bring a lot of, going to bring some good eyes to John's car with Danny Hood and Tim Fabrizi. So I think this helps John Force in the long run. You always think about John; he's trying to, elevate his daughter Brittany, or elevate Robert, elevate Austin. I think this is a good move for John also.
Well, I mean, let's just call it what it is. I mean, the guy is no dummy. He's done this for how long? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, let's just call it what it is. I mean, if he's looking at the writing on the wall, I mean, we've heard it all last year. He's not getting any younger.
Mhm.
We've seen it. We've understand it. So, I mean, if you can easily, bring someone, in or move things, and if you're the owner and it may happen to fall in your favor to help you,
Is this
I
is
mean,
this a final push from John saying, "Hey, I'm trying to go out"? Is this a
this is a no, but he did say it. Remember, I don't know if you were on that show, but the last time he was on, he said, "Yeah, if I'm gonna go out, I would like to, say farewell." And I mean, when you've done it this long, and I'm not saying that he said that, and I'm not implying that this is his last year, but
Oh no, not at all. No.
why would you? If I'm gonna bet on green and blue, I'm gonna put all the chips in my favor. That's all I'm saying.
And we do have some special stuff from John to look forward to this season. I'm not going to say it, but just, everybody's watching, just stay tuned. There's some special stuff coming towards, the end of the year. That's all I'm going to say. That's
You
all I'm going to say.
you
That's
just
all I'm going to say.
you have to be
That's all,
that guy, don't you?
that's all I'm going to say. I
You
can't
you
say it.
just
I
have
can't say it though. I can't. But
all
I just
right.
want to
Moving. Okay, moving on. Guys, don't listen. Don't listen to him.
stay tuned,
He
everybody.
was
Stay
he
tuned.
ate yeah
Stay
he
tuned.
ate too many donuts the other night. It's Angie's turn. I think the testing that's going on, the stuff that Matt Smith has said already this year, I agree with that. I mean,
Mm.
I definitely agree with that. Let's see what Andrew says. Andrew here says, I think Doug wins. Um, Top Fuel, Cruz wins. Funny Car, Greg wins Pro Stock, and Steve wins pro stock motorcycle, and all of them ride out into Pomona into the sunset and retire. Damn.
Okay, Sam, I got a question for you. I have a question for you, Sam. So
I may have an answer.
last week, NHRA announced that there will be a playoff in Pro Mod this season. Road to the championship. I want to get your opinion on. You like it? Okay, you like it.
That's all I gotta say. Look, I don't want to get in trouble. And so I'm not going to go on a tangent about professional modify, but it is time that we show some love. That's all I'm gonna say. We need to show some love, and I think this isn't a bad thing. I think Pro Mod has gone to Minnesota, put on a show, and there's been some back and there's been some following behind it, and I think we're finally at a good point right now where NHRA is saying, you know what, this Pro Mod clause has some funding behind it. It has fields where we can get people and they can show up to races. So I'll let DRC just say it for me. I mean, I think it is time that we show them some love and we move forward and see what we can do with it. I mean, and this is gonna sound so cliche, and I'm gonna regret. No, I'm gonna just say it just right out of the horse's mouth. In the way of Wes Buck, the way he would say it is, this is a universal language of drag racing, door slammer racing. It is. I mean, you can't get too far from it, and I love it. Sam, you really should read competition.
I honestly think it's something I'm looking forward to seeing, and I want to see how it all plays out. And I think, like you said, I feel like Pro Mod should get some love, and I'm happy they're gonna be shown on the Fox broadcast. Now you think about it with Pro Mod being an original IHRA class, I think it's cool that NHRA is putting them on that level. But as far as the playoff goes, I just think, and like I said, I'm gonna just give you some pushback. I just think when you think of professional sports, like professional modified, a professional class, when you think of professional sports, a regular season is a marathon, not a sprint. And to have only 6 races in a regular season in a 4-race playoff, I think we have a solid 10-race season. You just go heads up, no playoff. That's just how I feel. I don't think it was needed in this instance. Just my opinion.
No, and I see where you're getting from, but where do you start it from, right? I mean, if you don't start it and try and test it out, it's a test run.
Yeah, I get you.
So
yeah, I got it.
I mean, yeah, is the format of it, when we look at professional sports across the board, is the format what we're used to or what we are standard to? No. I mean, would I pick this format? No, but will I support it? Of course I will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's no different than some of the other, I don't want to say bonehead, but some of the other things that have been rolled out, and you're like, huh? we're gonna try this? Like, did I agree with the shootout being during qualifying passes? No. Like, I let them run one more time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let them get an extra hit. But
I got you.
What do you do? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you can't change everything because of that. So did I agree with that? No. But I think it's a way to show the class some support. It's a way to, put an extra incentive on the class. So, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, you guys, if you've watched the show, 118 episodes, there's one thing that I will support, and that's door slammer racing. Like, I mean, I'm gonna support it.
I love it.
So,
man. I love
with
it.
that being said, I mean, it's controversy, right? But I mean, what do you do? But with that being said, we're gonna take some time and thank the people that pump up this show. Thank the people that can make airplanes go in the air. These pumps are what fuels this show. And right after that, we're going to bring on the main man, and that is Mr. J to the A, Justin Ashley. Justin Ashley. What's up, man?
What's up, guys? How's it going? Thanks for having me on.
It's going good, going good. Hey, I gotta ask, did you have any drip coffee today?
Oh no drip coffee. I usually stay away from the caffeine, especially when we're racing, and we get to kick off the season this weekend, guys. I mean, it's been a longer than usual off season. We're already at it. We're already testing, getting ready to go for the Gator Nationals. So all eyes, all ears, everyone focused on this weekend.
Awesome. And I tell you what, I'm super excited to kick off this 2023 season. Nitro is right around the corner. I know they have the Fan Fest at Bernie's Josh Hart shop, I believe tomorrow. I think that's tomorrow, right, Sam?
Yeah, so that'll be tomorrow. So
Okay.
Josh is going to have a bunch of us drivers out there and a lot of fans. It'll be a fun deal.
Awesome. I just want to know, like, for you, I mean, just how cool is it, to be kicking off the season at Gainesville, the Gator Nationals, one of the biggest races in the history of NHRA drag racing, and I mean, and coming off a great year that you had in 2022, and trying to keep that momentum going into this season.
Yeah, thank you. It's exciting. We really did have a really good year last year. We learned a lot, and we took a lot from that. Now it's about applying what we learned to 2023, but it is a little bit of a shift, right? As opposed to the normal schedule where we'll start at Pomona, we're going to start at Gainesville. And for me, personally, being from the East Coast, I'm not really sure how everyone feels about it, but I do actually like starting a little bit later and starting in Gainesville. And it's so historic. There's so much history that dates back years and years ago when it comes to Gainesville Raceway. I went there for years and years watching my father. You were talking about Door Slammer Racing. So watching him race in Pro Modified at the Gator National. So it's exciting. We made a lot of adjustments in the offseason, but most importantly, we have pretty much the same personnel rolling into the season as we did last year. So just really pumped to get the season kicked off and started.
As a West Coast guy, Justin, I gotta say, I wish we were starting in Pomona at the Winter Nationals. I'm just be honest. I'll just be honest.
I don't blame you. I think most people are. I'm in the minority there.
So Justin, I mean, just looking at you, I know we've texted a couple of times throughout the off season, but man, you look leaner, you look meaner. Like, what'd you change during the off season, man?
So we changed a few things. I mean, obviously, I don't want to give away any secrets. Most of the stuff's above my head anyway, but we definitely made some changes on the car that we hope will directly have a correlation to some increased performance. And the truth is we have to. We had a good year last year, but we can't stay the same because everyone else around us is progressing. Everyone else around us is continuing to improve and get better. So we have to do the same thing. So we're doing everything that we can to take that next step. So we did make some changes on the car. I spent the off season obviously, physically, mentally, making sure that I'm prepared, ready to go. And as you guys know, I have the easy job. I have the fun job, right? I get to sit and drive an 11,000 horsepower top fuel dragster, but it's all about the guys. It's about the team that we have. And Mike and Tommy, they've just been doing an outstanding job. So I can't wait. I really cannot wait to get back behind the wheel again.
And so you mentioned you made some changes on the car, and obviously you guys have been testing for quite a while now. Is there anything in testing that you guys have kind of zeroed in on that, kind of help you guys improve to have to kind of keep that momentum from last year and be better this season here in 2023?
Yeah, I don't know if it's one thing in particular, as much as it is just kind of a new program, a new tune-up based on the changes that we made. So I wouldn't say it's one thing in particular that we're zeroed in on as much as just overall just getting our baseline and getting our start for the year. And that's just going to come with more time. More laps down the racetrack, we'll collect that data, we'll collect that information. And thankfully, Toyota Gazoo Racing is a huge, huge help with that and providing us all the information, all the data that we need to be able to dissect and make the right decision. So, in terms of Mike and Tommy, it's just a matter of making more laps down the racetrack and learning everything that we can heading into Gainesville.
And you just touched on that when we had J.R. Todd on the show. He talked about, how huge it is for him and his team to have Toyota. When we talked to Antron, he's mentioned, Toyota. All the Toyota drivers have continued to just say what, I guess, advantage I want to say that they have with having that whole Toyota family and you guys all working together and them giving you guys a little bit more insight. For you, now being a part of that Toyota team, what does that feel like?
Yeah, it feels amazing. I mean, let's face it. It takes a team, but it takes a team on and off the racetrack. And we would not be racing without the partners that we have. Obviously, first and foremost, Phillips Connect and all that they do to provide support for our program. But in terms of Toyota and Toyota Gazoo Racing North America, that's a relationship that came together through Antron Brown. And you can definitely tell a difference. I spent years driving, not having that relationship with Toyota. And now that I spent just 1 year with Toyota, it's so easy to notice a difference. When they say it's a family, it really is. Everyone has each other's back, from the Toyota side to the Toyota teams out here. So they just, I mean, look, they do a number of different things in so many different ways, but obviously from the data and information side, they give us everything that we need to be successful. They have engineers at the racetrack constantly sending us everything that we need dissect and looked at. And then they also do a great job on the marketing side, helping the drivers and helping the teams to build their brand. So I'm just all around really grateful for the opportunity to represent an iconic brand like Toyota, and just look forward to another year and another opportunity to do so.
I mean, you brought it up. We're talking about Toyota. Justin, when are you going to get your own commercial, man? We need to see a funny commercial.
That was my next question.
So listen,
that was my next question.
We have to have some kind of pitch. Listen, I'm just saying, if we do a commercial, maybe I could hop in the Supra. Maybe just put it out there. Maybe a little burnout in the Supra or something like that. So who knows? Listen, but I don't know if there's going to be a horsepower hangover commercial like there was with Antron, but I think we can get creative with a few things.
Okay.
Just go steal Antrons.
I could do that too, but don't tell anybody. We're live.
Hey, I got a plan. Indy this year, me, take the Supra. Yeah, there we go. He won't listen to this, so he won't hear it.
I know this is old. And I shouldn't bring it up, but if you do go up funny commercial, you got to add the dance, walk 1,000 feet dance. You got to bring that back. Got to bring it back.
Oh my gosh! Please. So one thing is, can that be written to like a commercial contract, or if I do end up doing a commercial, no dancing is required? Because look, I'll be the first one to admit I'm not the one you want dancing. There's plenty of other people who can do a much better job at dancing than I can. But hey, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes, right?
Darren, when we get off here tonight, I'll dig through the pit archives and I'll look through a few of them. I've got some good ones, and Justin, busting a move or two.
Nice.
Justin's more known for the dad jokes than he is the dance moves.
That's true. I think a good dad joke goes a long way. I really do. I think that you can't put an age limit on a dad joke. They're all funny all the time, and it helps to kind of, loosen up the atmosphere a little bit.
Yeah. And so just going back to Gator Nationals now, because, we are racing this weekend, and another added thing to the Gator Nationals is the Top Fuel All-Star call-out. You were in it last year, and it was great. I just want to get from you, do you think it lived up to the hype, and it did what it was intended to do? And also, can you give us a hint on who you may call out this year?
Who I may call out if I don't get called out first. See, that's the tricky thing. And look, I'm glad you brought it up. That's a great question, because obviously we're starting at Gainesville. It's the first race of the year. And in addition to that, we have this Pep Boys All-Star call out. And last year, I do think it lived up to the hype. I think it was really exciting. I remember sitting in the staging lanes, getting ready. It was round 2 to race Steve Torrance. And all of a sudden I hear everybody stop. And I see the guy from Pep Boys parachuting in with $80,000 cash in a see-through briefcase. I'm like, wow, this is really amazing. So a big thank you to Pep Boys for putting everything together. And it's different. It's great because it's different. I know that people have mixed emotions, mixed feelings about the call-out format, but I think that for a specialty event like this, I think it fits well. It really helps to build up the hype. There's a lot of energy surrounding this particular event, and all the drivers, all the teams, including our Phillips Connect team, wants to win it just as bad as we want to win the championship, just as bad as we want to win Indy, just as bad as we want to win the Gator National. So in terms of who we're going to call out, the only thing that I could say is what makes it tricky is we don't know who's going to get called out. Maybe we'll even get called out beforehand. So we're going to have to go up there, and I'm going to have to go up there with a few different names in mind. But I'll tell you one thing, it is certainly going to be a team decision. That is not a decision that I'm making myself. That's a decision that I'll run by Mike Green and Tommy DeLago.
Awesome.
So, Justin, I mean, it's been the talk of all last year. It's been the talk of the offseason. Mighty Mac asked the question right away, is the Mr. 300 challenge going to be claimed this weekend?
It's interesting. It's interesting, right? You have to look at the conditions. I don't know that the conditions are going to lend to somebody going 300 miles per hour to the 8th mile this weekend. However, never say never. It could happen at any moment in time. And, obviously this whole deal dates back to Jim Epler, who was the executive VP of Phillips Connect. And he was the first funny car driver to go 300 miles per hour to the 8th mile. I'm sorry, to the quarter mile. Now think about all the advancements in technology. We're going the same speed in half the distance. It really is incredible. And sure, it can happen this weekend at the Gator Nationals. It might happen this weekend at the Gator Nationals. But I think you got to look at a few races in particular, where it starts to get a little bit cooler out. Perhaps some night sessions where somebody will go 300 miles per hour to the 8th. And I certainly hope it's us.
Isn't it cool how last season it was the 30th anniversary of when Kenny Bernstein was the first to 300, 301, and now this season will be the 30th anniversary of when Jim Epler did it. And also, just for Gator Nationals reasons, this is the 30th anniversary of Eddie Hill. Remember the nuclear banana? He put the nuclear banana aside, brung out an exact replica of the nuclear banana, and went out and won the Gator Nationals 30 years ago. So just a little cool throwback history right there. But for you, Justin, like I said, I've been saying it all show long. A great season last year. I mean, you were a breakout driver of the year. So congratulations on that. But for you, to come up just short of that championship, do you feel like, the saying in sports is you have to lose to learn how to win. And obviously you're a winner, of course. But do you feel like, being battle tested and going through that is going to help you in trying to getting over that next step here in 2023?
I do. And I actually am a firm believer in that. I think that sometimes, depending on circumstances, you have to lose in order to learn how to win. And, we took a major step forward last year. And, it's easy to look at the season in a microscope, just those last two races. And we were in the lead for the championship and we fell short. But, when you look at the season as a whole, we had an outstanding year. We really had a great year from start to finish. So, we take what we learned over the last two races, apply it to next year, and it helps us. It helps us take that next step forward. So obviously Mike and Tommy, they have championship winning experience, and we have a lot of guys on the team that have championship winning experience. So I just, it's funny because people always ask the same question. Well, coming up that short, does it give you a chip on your shoulder? Does it give you that much more motivation to win the championship this year? And it's like, well, I think that chip is always there, right? If that same motivation wasn't there before, then is it ever going to come? So I think the motivation part of it is always there. But I think we learned a lot last year. We really did throughout the year. And, there's no room to stay stagnant. There's no time to stay stagnant or you'll be sent home packing early. So grateful for that experience. I never really had that much experience or that significant amount of experience where the championship was really on the line prior to last year. So I do think that's going to be very helpful now going into this year. Going into the countdown, having really experienced that pressure before, whereas last year it was all new.
You talk about going through these experiences and being battle tested. For you, your pit, feels like it's kind of in the shop or in the garage with family, right? You have the legendary Mr. Jim Epler there. You have Mike Green, you have Tommy DeLago, but then you have your dad, someone who has, been in a similar seat just like you, someone that's coaching you throughout the way. And you have these iconic people that are surrounding you and coaching you through every step of this. When, hey, we may have gone out first round, but your team owner is right there working on the car. You look around and your dad's there to give you knowledge. Jim's there to talk to you through something. Battle tested through, okay, we made it to the semifinals or the finals this week, or we won this race. And being there and having that coaching along the way, how much do you think that's helped you and simmer down those moments where you're like, man, I'm really in this position right now?
Sammy, it's helped me a lot. I got to say, it takes a team, and to be able to have the experienced guys that we have, to be able to have the culture that we have, it goes a long way. It really does. You take my dad, for example, and I'm able to go back after runs and say, hey, I felt this or I felt that, or say, hey, I'm not really sure what happened. And just to be able to have him communicate it in a way that I understand really means a lot to me. And it goes a long way because I can then apply that to the next run and the run after that and continue to learn and continue to go and continue to grow. And, you know, a guy like Jim Epler, he's so helpful, not only from the driving side. By the way, what he can do from a driving side is amazing. Before I can even look at the time slip, he can already tell me what happened. I'm talking about as detailed as whether it was a good reaction time, a bad reaction time, or where it shook the tires, smoked the tires, or how far it carried the front end. That's a guy that has so much drag racing knowledge, but on the business side too, it's nice to have a guy like Jim in our corner who fully understands not only motorsports, but the business side of motorsports too. So he's just been a tremendous, tremendous, invaluable asset for myself and for our entire team. So to be able to go back to the pit area after runs, between races, speak to these guys like Jim, like my father, and the team that we have and with the culture that we've established really helps lend to a lot of success for us.
I tell you what, you talk about carrying that front end. That your dragster, man, it carries our front end. It's Larry Dixon, Dick LaHaye style. I love it.
It does. So that's one thing it took me by surprise too when we first started last year. It's like, you know, you get in the car, all of a sudden it carries the front end. And you know, when you start thinking to yourself, wow, I'm kind of carrying the front end a long time. Feels like I'm up here. That's how you know it's really carrying the front end a long time, man. And then you go back and you're like, I got to take a look at the video and I got to take a look at the pictures because this thing's going to look really, really cool. And you said it, the Dick LaHaye, Larry Dixon days. And I'm a big fan of Larry Dixon. That's fun, man. It really is fun. It's fun. It's exciting for the fans. Ultimately, it's all about performance. But I'll tell you what, it is really, really fun to watch.
So are you still steering as it carries the front end or like just kind of take us behind the driver's seat?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because it happens so early in the run. So whether you're carrying the front end in the first portion of the run or whether it's just a standard run that you'd see 9 out of 10 times, you're kind of just reacting because these cars are so fast. They're so violent and explosive. You're talking about 11,000 horsepower, 0 to 100 in less than a second, that at that point, you're literally just reacting because everything's first kind of coming into frame mentally as you're going through your progression. So I think that it's really, you're really not steering, right, when you're carrying the front end because ultimately the car's not going to do anything. It's really when it settles down. So it's just a matter of making the right adjustments, keeping the wheel straight, and then making the right adjustments and the proper adjustments as soon as it lands so you don't find yourself caught behind. And it takes experience. It really does. You know, the first few times it carries the front end, you may have to adjust a little bit, and then over time you get used to it.
Here I am right now trying to look at pictures from Arizona last year. I got some pretty sweet ones of you and Antron's car up in there. I'm trying to find them, but can't do it right now. But we've talked about, you know, last year and the battles, the wounds and the scars and, you know, being backed against the rope. We've talked about what it's like to have certain people in your pits, what your expectations are. But for you to have Phillips Connect on board with you, for you to have that Phillips Connect family and have them support you the way that they have. Talk about Phillips and what they do, what they provide, you know, because they've helped you, and let's shine some light on Phillips Connect.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the opportunity. They've been such a help to our program. Really, I can't even describe what a big help they've been. And again, we would not be racing. We would not be in this position without Phillips Industries and without Phillips Connect. And I think the amazing part about Phillips Connect and their technologies that you see a lot of companies out there that are really all about trailer tracking. So they'll provide products that actually track the trailers, but Phillips is not only about trailer tracking, but they're about really monitoring the health of the fleet and the health of your trailer. And I'm talking about more advanced sensors that have a much more direct correlation to significant return on investment for these companies. So they're working with some huge fleets, everyone from Werner to UPS and so many other ones on monitoring tire pressure, providing cargo cameras, ADAS, ABS, every kind of advanced sensor that you could possibly imagine that provides ROI for these trucking companies. And we're using the motorsports platform to not only communicate that message, but to also bring existing clients, bring potential customers out to the racetrack and talk business, entertain, enjoy a day of racing together. And it's really been a great relationship. The cultures mesh so well because they really are a family at Phillips. They're Phillips family for a reason. And our race team is a family. So we really operate the same way. And they've done so much to be able to give back to our team, but to be able to give back to the NHRA community as a whole. So everything for the most part is business to business. So we continue to work on growing this program from a business side. And in turn, you'll see the increase in performance on the racetrack.
And, and it's great to see Phillips Connect in drag racing and everything they've done for drag racing so far. We talked about 100 times, first of the, 388th and everything like that. But, and correct me if I'm wrong, I could be totally wrong, but I know it's your sponsor and you're an advocate for them, but I've heard that you've picked up a job with them too. You do some stuff behind the scenes with them?
I did, yeah. So I'm actually a business development manager now with Phillips Connect. And essentially, in addition to a few other things, my job is to oversee all the business to business that comes through the motorsports community. So obviously there's a lot of relationships that are built through NHRA and built through the motorsports community, but there are a ton of potential customers out there, large fleets with thousands and thousands of trailers. So part of my job is to develop that business and continue to develop those relationships, and ultimately, hopefully, turn them into business. So it's a great opportunity. I'm very grateful to Rob Phillips, to Amber White, to Jim Epler, and the entire Phillips family for the opportunity to not only work with them at the racetrack, but work with them off the racetrack too. And it's been a great learning experience for me. The trailer telematics business is complicated. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into it, especially having no prior knowledge or experience in this industry, but I really, really love it. And it's something that I really look forward to.
Dope.
All right, Justin, I've got to ask this question. Dad's a door slammer guy. You grew up watching Dad in a pro mod. How do you, Justin Ashley, feel about, I'm just going to say it. Would you ever get into a pro mod, or would your dad even say, yeah, you can do it?
Sure. Yeah, I would love to. That was a quick answer, no hesitation, right? It's funny. We were testing today, and I was in Antron's trailer hanging out. I was talking with Brian Karate and Mark and Brad Mason over there. We were just kind of spitballing about it because obviously they had this World Series of Pro Mod deal in Bradenton, and Antron's driven a Pro Mod before. And sure, look, you know what? I would love to. I think that, you can see right there. There's more than likely there's a much better chance of my father hopping in a pro mod than myself. I still have I would love to, but I still have a lot to learn, and I'm focused on perfecting what it means to be a great top fuel dragster driver and continuing to learn, continuing to grow. But boy, do I love those pro mods. I really, really do love those door slammers.
We're just going to go through the comments that wrote in here very quick.
It came
first
quick.
He says,
it was quick, wasn't it, Sam? It was quick.
I couldn't even finish the question, and he was already typing this. So this is the first one. This is the second one. This was the third one. This is the fourth one. There we go.
See, you notice that last comment, he said he could love watching them. I do love watching them. But yeah. But honestly, though, maybe he might. I would not be surprised. Look, I'm just saying, I would not be shocked if I've been kind of in his ear a little bit lately. Normally, I would say, look, it's not safe, all this, but I don't know. I've been in his ear lately. I'd love to see him get back behind the wheel, whether it's NHRA or whether it's some of this 8th mile pro mod racing. I think it'd be fun. I'd love to see him get back behind the wheel again. I think he'd have a lot of fun doing it.
Awesome. Well, Justin,
I agree. Like, could you imagine that I think I found the picture too. I'm looking for that picture of your car right now. But could you imagine the excitement that Mike Ashley would bring to that already crazy pro mod class?
My poor mother. Right now, she's probably listening and shaking her head. Listen, I had to go through this already. Now I got to go through this with Justin. Enough. Trust me, she's not very happy with you right now. She's not very happy. But hey, you never know, right? Anything is possible.
I'm Okay, I'm surprised your mom hasn't driven a car, or maybe she has. Maybe I don't know. I've never asked that question. Is she?
Someone's got to be sane in the family, please.
Okay, that answers that.
Hey, we're working
really
on a
quick.
few things. I'm just saying, we talked earlier about Mr. 300, Jim Epler. You never know. I'll leave it at that. You never know. Driving, once it's in the blood, it never leaves. So maybe there's something there in the future.
Wow. Okay.
I think that's our peak moment of the night right there.
Really, I like it.
Hearing something like that, Justin, might be sending you a text later and give me some insight.
I'm just putting it out there, guys. You guys do what you do with it.
We're just gonna.
Sam,
we know Mike's watching. Mike, will you get behind the wheel? We want to know. The people want to know, Mike. Is it an option? It's taken him a long time to answer this question.
Yeah.
When we start talking about the pro mod for Justin.
Yeah.
Well, Justin, final question for me, because we have Ida Zetterström in the green room. Final question for me. So you got Mike Ashley over there. You have Jim Epler, Mike Green. Do you ever just go back and just talk about old stories with Mike, the McDonald's days and with Jim Epler and just talk about those old days back in 90s Nitro's funny cars? You ever go back and just WWF, you ever just go back and talk about old stuff?
Yeah, they do actually come up every once in a while, all those stories. And I personally really enjoy hearing those stories. And we love kind of just sitting around talking about them. It's kind of hard when you're at the racetrack because we're so focused on what we're doing. But when the race is over or in the off season or stuff like that, we do have a tendency to talk about it with my father. It's the pro mod, right? With Mike Green, it kind of dates back to those Army days. And then, with Jim Epler, I love talking about the WWF car. I think that was so cool and so much fun. Also frequently throughout the year, I have people bringing die-casts over, like the Motley Crue die-cast of his Motley Crue funny car for him to sign, a Toys R Us die-cast for him to sign. So what happens is I see all these die-casts and I say, hey, Jim, you ran this car? Or, hey, Jim, you ran that car? And then it leads to all these fun stories and all these fun conversations. So, yes, we definitely talk in detail about some of the fun times that he used to have at the racetrack, driving some of those really, really, really cool-looking funny cars. And we all enjoy sitting around and kind of going over some of the fun times we've had in the past.
Well, if you can hook me up with a Kane Big Red Machine Camaro funny car from back in the day, hook me up.
Yes,
bro.
I've seen those too. I have seen those too. Plenty of them at the racetrack. I know a guy who knows a thing or two about those.
We'll be in touch.
Well, Justin, we're definitely excited to see you very soon at a racetrack. Wishing you safety, blessings, and a great season for sure this year, you and the team. And I don't know if you guys saw the comments, but it looks like 2024, Mike Ashley might be running at the World Series of Pro Mod. And the answer is yes. We love it. But Justin, brother, kick ass and take names this year. I'll send you my normal text before round one in Gainesville, like always. But stay safe, have fun, and man, just go out there and show them what you're made of.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you having me on. You guys are doing a great job, man. Really a great job.
And big shout out to Big Mike. Happy birthday, brother.
Yes,
and
happy
Austin.
Birthday to Mike Arnridge and Austin Arnridge. Let's get the season started. Also, stay tuned for a few exciting announcements with new partners over these next few days before the Gator Nationals. But thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Go Team Phillips Connect, Team Toyota. We're looking forward to a good year. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
Classic car owners, make your headlights over twice as bright with Holley Retro Bright LED headlights. A plug-in replacement for those dim halogen seal beams, Retro Bright maintains that classic look and lasts 6 times longer. Stay safe and click the link below to learn more.
And just like that, we're rolling on to our next guest. Ida, how is it going tonight?
It's good. Yeah, I just got to the hotel here in Gainesville a little while ago. Had a workout and a shower, and now I'm good as new.
So, what are you looking forward to this season?
I'm looking forward to just getting back at it with my crew, getting back in the car. We have a really long off season, so for us, being away from it from beginning of September to yeah, basically May when we start racing again. We have some testing going on in April, but otherwise it's end of May. So, just getting into the car is always very exciting since you have been away for so long. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to more action on the track. We want to go quicker, faster, want to, win more runs and just keep improving on our program.
So this is Ida's first time on Competition Plus, and for people who don't know, she drives Top Fuel, FIA Top Fuel in Europe, and that was the first driver ever to dip into the 370. So I know that was pretty cool. That was a big time thing last year, and it was really cool. And so, but you just said, just got to Gainesville. You're actually at the World Series of Pro Mod this past weekend,
Yeah,
correct?
it was an awesome event. I was really happy we were able to make it. We were coming in for Gainesville, but like we did not want to miss the World Series of Pro Mod, so we came in a weekend early and we got to enjoy that. And man, it was cool. Damn good racing.
Would you ever jump behind the wheel of Door Slammer Pro Mod ever?
Oh, I mean, there's not a lot of things I wouldn't do. I've done the bike stuff and I love the door cars, so I can't say no. Like, I know I'm focused on the Top Fuel stuff right now, but I love Pro Mod. Yeah, I do.
Awesome.
See, and that's what okay, first of all, did I say your name wrong? I said Ida.
Yeah, well, I say Ida, since in Sweden we say Ida, but I'm all fine with everybody calling me Ida. The only thing is, if you do call on me and I don't answer, I'm not rude, I just don't hear it.
Okay, so Ida. All right, but okay, so for you, like you said, going and watching the World Series of Pro Mod, seeing, these different classes, seeing these guys and girls out there, if you could wrap what that atmosphere was like, what was it like for you being out there and seeing, these world-class cars and being able to be that close at the starting line? And, it kind of felt like a backdoor grudge race type event.
And man, it was really cool. To be honest, that field was so tight to getting, those 61 cars into a 32 ladder, and everybody was running good numbers. I know like Spencer Hyde that won the event, he got in by 1,000 on the last qualifying run, ended up winning the event, but I think it was like 1,000 or 5,000 in the last run, running a personal best. I don't think it gets any better than that. Like, all runs were so cool to watch. And you could see the drivers, they were so nervous. Like, I've heard drivers saying before they get into the car, like, I'm about to throw up. I'm not sure, what I'm going to do. And that just shows how much it is at stake and like how badly everybody wanted it. And to be able to watch it when you can see how badly everybody wants it and how good everybody was driving, like, yeah, that's top of the line. I loved it.
And so, Ida, like I said, mentioned just a second ago, this is your first time on Comp Plus. So I really want to get the viewers to kind of get to know you. And I know you've kind of talked about this a lot, but let's start from the beginning. So, but for right now, you actually live in the Åland Islands, correct?
Yeah.
But also Sweden and Finland comes into play. So kind of just explain that whole deal right there.
Yeah, well, I'm born in Sweden. I'm born outside of Stockholm. I live on a small island called Åland Islands. So it's right in the middle of Sweden and Finland. It's actually a Finnish island. But we only speak Swedish, not Finnish. But I do have a Finnish passport, but I'm also Swedish from the start. So I'm like half Swedish, half Finnish. But don't ask me anything in Finnish because I will not be able to answer.
And then just your trajectory into motorsports. So you actually started junior dragsters and then super comp, and then just talk about that transition into the super bike and then finally into top fuel dragster.
Yeah, well, I started racing junior dragster when I was 8. That was the lowest age you can do it. When I was racing, my dad built me a car and we raced together till I was 16. When I was 16, I got licensed with Korma Racing, a team over in Sweden. They brought a car over from US and they were going to run it, and they let me license and make some passes at a few events over there. So that was awesome. I was 16 then, and great experience. I did not have a car of my own, so it took a few years before I was able to like really get back into competition, and when I did, it was on a bike. So I raced a class called Super Street Bike. So for most of the guys that are familiar with the bike scene, they know the Pro Street Bike over here in US, and the Super Street Bike is very similar to that. We just have a little bit different rule book. We run a shorter wheelbase than they do over here, and it's just a few things that differ. But other than that, it's 750 horsepower, no wheelie bar street tire drag bikes. I ran a Hayabusa Turbo, and yeah, well, it's a really cool class, really action packed, a lot of high wheelies, a lot of tight racing, and actually I know several now the guys coming into pro stock bike this year, they come from the super street bike. So like H Herrera, when I raced over in US once, he was running the same event, and he's one of the really great contenders in pro street bike, and I think it's going to be really cool to see him in pro stock, because I think he's going to do really well with Vance and Hines. And also there's been several of the pro street guys making a lap onto the NHRA pro stock bike scene. So yeah, well, it's a really cool class in my opinion, and I kind of just stumbled onto it. I hadn't really done a lot of bike stuff before, but my boyfriend was racing bikes, and he was racing that class. So for a year or so, I was, on the crew with him, and just fell in love with the class. It's such a cool class, and it's a great mix between, the driver, the engine builder, the tuner, and just getting it all to line up. And I like that.
She's a badass, Sam. She's a badass, as you can see.
I'm sitting here like trying to process, like, nope, no. Like, you guys, I rode motorcycles before in my life, right? My brother has had my brother's actually had 3 Hayabusas. He's had a brown one, a black one, and a yellow one. At 2 out of the 3, I've seen him roll off of. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I got a friend that lives up here. He's got a turbo Hayabusa, and he's gone past me at like, I think it was like 127 or something. And I'm like, dude, like you just have to have like, you're made of steel when you do stuff like that. And I can't do it. I'm 180 pounds soaking wet. I'm not holding on to a bike. Like, I've ridden a snowmobile down a drag strip, and that freaked me out. Like, the fact that I have to lean off of the thing to keep it straight. Yeah. Nah, I like doors. I like to be enclosed. Like, yeah, well, I like to have something around me.
Usually the adrenaline kick is really high when you're doing the bike stuff, because you do feel very like unsecure, so to say. Like, even though you're doing everything as good as you can to drive them, but when something happens and you get a little bit out of shape in a car, usually you just steer back and you think that was it. But when you do it on a bike, you kind of turn off the track and be like, oh, that was a close one, I almost fell off. So it's a little bit different. But I do like the bike stuff. It brings another level of adrenaline to the table.
No, but I don't even have words. I just, no, not for me. Call me a wuss, whatever. I do want to see Lee. Lee has always said that he'll get on, the other co-host that's on here. Usually he said that he would get, on a bike. Mm-hmm. I want to see it. Like, I want to see it. I want to watch him and laugh, but I don't want to get on one. You know what, Bobby? You can say she's making me look like a candy ass. I will admit it. I don't want to do it. Like I said, I've ridden motorcycles before. Yep. I don't want to go that fast on a motorcycle. So, I mean, call me what you want to call me. That it's fine. Like, there's things in life you got to know your limits. And there's a limit. But I do have to ask, since we're an interactive show, Michael asked this question here. He says, ask her how she learned how to speak English. It's a great story. So.
Well, I'm not sure. Well, I was struggling with English when I went to school. Like, overall, languages has just not really been my thing. I've tried to learn Spanish, but I can order beer. Like, that's basically it. Other than that, no. So English took a long while. I started watching TV shows. So I watched like all episode of Friends over and over and over. First, it was with Swedish subtitles. Then I chose the English subtitles, and then after a while, I could finally understand what they were saying. And yeah, that's pretty much how I learned it. Of course, we learned it in school too, but it wasn't enough for me to catch on for some reason. So I had to do some more. So that's it. But then, of course, after I've been here more and also working more on the US side of things, I've gotten better at it, but I still struggle. I was shooting some stuff with Dream Giveaway on Monday, and I was trying to, just shoot up this explanations about the cars and stuff in English, but my head was still in Swedish, and it was so many bloopers they could make. I think you could make like an hour show of just my bloopers. So yeah, it is what it
But
is.
in drag racing, I mean, I think there's certain words in drag racing that are just kind of universal, right? So
Yeah,
I mean, you say it and everybody's like, oh yeah, I know what you mean.
But that was actually when I went over to US to run with the bike. I was so afraid because, we had been speaking Swedish when we were, assembling the engines, doing everything. So I knew everything about the engine, everything we did in Swedish. And I was just so afraid for someone to ask me something in English and I would say the wrong word because, that's not all of those terms. It's not something that I instantly knew in English, and I just didn't want to come off as the dumb blonde that didn't know what she was speaking of. And I just wanted to say to everyone, it's just a language like mishap if you hear something wrong. Like, I'm not dumb. Like, I know what I'm driving, but yeah, no, it's not always easy to have a second language, but I try.
Man, but watching Friends to learn English, I mean, that's a classic show right there, Friends. I like it. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, so now
And
it's my comfort series since I know all the episodes by heart.
awesome. That's up. I don't think I've actually watched Friends like that. I've seen a few episodes here and there. I've just never watched it fully straight through. No, I'm gonna have to get on it probably. Probably got to get on it. Sam is shaking his head no.
No, I can't get behind it. I've tried. If I want to go to sleep, I put Friends
I was
on.
starting to learn, so it wasn't now. Like, this was a long time ago. Friends just fitted right in.
And one cool thing about Ida too, Sam, is her helmet. When she races top fuel, it's like kind of like I don't know, like kind of sharp teeth. Yeah, like venom. There you go. Like really cool. And so, also, you mentioned racing your street bike in America. I know your plans right now is to maybe race some races in top fuel over here in the States, maybe one or two. I know there's some plans in the works. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I would love to race over here. We have some great racing going on in Europe, but our season is very short. Like I said, we start up in late May and we end in early September. So I would really love to bring, just do some more racing over here, get some more seat time, just get that off season shorter than it is at the moment by maybe having some event at the end of the year. Of course, my ultimate dream and goal is to be able to run over here more than just an event or two, but that's why I'm starting with trying to maybe make it over here in the end of the year for a few events and see where we can go from there.
So for you, I mean, coming over here, like you said, going through the struggle of trying to figure out, the language barrier. And then there's also that you're a woman in the sport. And, we don't like to harp on that, but people may look at you as, oh, she doesn't know what she's doing. She's just driving, or this and that. For you, have you seen many challenges with that? Or do you think that it's been very welcoming to see someone like you in this sport?
Well, yes and no. I would say since I've grown up at the track since I was 3 weeks old, for me, I never really understood like that it was different for a woman to start when we were starting junior dragster when I was 8. And to be honest, there was a lot of women or a lot of girls doing junior dragster when I started. So it wasn't strange in any way. The same when I was licensing for the Supercom thing, we had a lot of women doing that. The only time that it was like it really stood out that I was a girl was basically when I got into the bike stuff, because there were not a lot of girls doing it. And from the years that I competed in Europe, there have been like one or two more while I was doing it, but not either they didn't do the full series or they did 1 year and then they stopped or so on. But when we raced, I was the first woman to win an event in Super Street Bike, and I was the first to win a series. And I know when we ran our best time back in, this was 2020, I think. Yeah, 2020. We ran a 688 in the quarter mile, 215 miles per hour. And everybody said that was the quickest run ever made by a woman, and it was also the highest miles per hour ever run by a woman on a drag bike. And that was all true, but keep in mind it was the second quickest time ever in Europe. So it wasn't like, sometimes it sounds like, oh, it was fast for a woman. Yeah, well, it was kind of fast for anybody, since there was only one guy that was quicker than us in the whole Europe. So kind of, you know, sometimes you get into things like that. Same when I got into Top Fuel. Right now we are the European record holders, but I see so many always introducing us as she's the fastest woman in Europe or quickest woman in Europe. And I'm like, yeah, well, I am the quickest, but I'm not just the quickest woman. Like, I want to be taken as I'm just the quickest, period, because that's the case. But I think like you can't get too hung up on it either, because most of the people that are doing stuff like that, or like pointing out the fact that you're a woman, they're not doing it to be mean or anything. Usually they just think it's very cool that you are a woman in it, and they want to showcase that other women can get into it and, you know, use you as a role model. And I'm all down for all of that. So I don't think that much about those kind of things. Then of course I have had, you know, brands that have maybe said like, well, I don't think that a blonde woman aligns with our brand because it's not really our demographic. And of course then it's hard, stuff like that. I also heard like, oh, should we do this with you? Maybe you want to have kids in 2 years and then you won't drive, you know, stuff like that the guys don't have to think about in the same way. That can be a struggle, but also I feel like you can't get too hung up on all of these things, because I'm just out here to prove that it's worth to take that shot on me, because like I am doing my best at what I'm doing, and I'm not planning on quitting and having kids, and I want to do this full out. And if they actually get to know me and saw what I was doing, they would see how much, you know, passion and love I put into what I do. And if they see what I've done and, you know, what I stand for, I'm not just a blonde girl standing next to a car. Like I actually know what I'm doing, and I'm one that always want to learn more and get better and everything. So I think, well, there can be some struggles. I've had some stuff, but also you can't get too hung up on it. Like, you just have to focus on what actually matters and what you can actually make a difference for. So.
And I've been following you for a while now, and I love the passion, the love, and the motivation you have for drag racing. I see it on social media. I see it in every interview that you've done. I've seen plenty of interviews that you've done so far. And you mentioned, you know, like I almost made the mistake. So when I introduced you, I was about to say the quickest woman. I was like, wait, no, she's not the quickest woman. She's actually she's the quickest in Europe with in first in the 370. So
I don't take offense, but it's just there's been stuff like that. And also if someone says it like this, I don't care. But sometimes, you know, if there's a story coming out in a newspaper or whatever, and it says that, I kind of always feel like, oh, I wish they wouldn't have said it. I was just the quickest woman, just said that I'm the quickest. So just stuff like that. And I know when I was doing the bike stuff, there was a lot of, you know, I was the first girl in the 6-second zone on a street tire drag bike. And it was put a lot of focus onto me being a woman. And in the beginning, I was kind of struggling a little bit with it, because I kind of felt like, well, I'm out here and I'm doing well. I'm not just doing well for a woman, I'm actually doing well. But after a while, I kind of felt like, okay, maybe this is a big thing for some people, because there obviously haven't been that many women that have been good at this. So like in that class, or like in that field. And after a while, I started getting messages from other women that said that they have also gotten into bike racing and had me as their inspiration and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden I kind of felt like I shouldn't force this. Like, apparently it is something good that brings more women into it, and something that I might feel, you know, maybe a little annoyed about. Like, why are they telling the fact that I'm a woman that why does it matter? But then there's another woman actually sitting there watching it and be like, wow, she's the first woman. So I kind of feel like I've taken another approach to it, and just feel like if that can help anyone, you know, open any door or get anyone else to get into it, I'm just all for it. So.
And you are doing well.
I think that's what it's.
You got it, Sam.
Oh, I think that's what it's all about, right? Is being a spokesperson for anybody else that's, you know, looking at it or being there. And that's awesome that you say that. Like, hey, I understand that I'm a female. I understand that I'm doing this, and it may not be, you know, your typical protocol, but look at me just like another, you know, another driver, another human being. But let me be an example or a bridge or a lightweight for someone else that, you know, wants to do the same thing. And that's awesome to just have that mentality and just want that.
I think it helps. And like with everything, I think it helps if you try to look at it from a different angle, because sometimes, like you said, being a woman in sport, you can have things that are harder for us. I mean, there are plenty of stuff that is harder for us, but you can't get too hung up on it. Because we do have advantages on some stuff too. So I kind of have to feel like I take the advantages, and then the stuff that I have disadvantages, I can't do anything about it. Just put it to the side and focus on what I can actually use for myself to make this dream happen and to be good at what I do. So.
And you mentioned, you are doing well. So this past season, I believe it was your first full year in FIA Top Fuel, and you had the points lead for a while, came up just short of the championship. But as far as Top Fuel wise, just kind of talk about Top Fuel in Europe, kind of compared to Top Fuel in the States, and how they kind of compare and how they kind of contrast.
Yeah, well, we do have like the same rule book as the NHRA do, and most of the cars are previous NHRA raced cars. So there's a lot of similarities there. We mostly use old parts. Like the teams over here, they mostly run brand new parts. Of course, you have the lower budget teams that might use the older stuff, but we do it basically all the time. For two reasons. One being that our budgets are a lot lower than the budgets over here. And then also because, to be honest, the tracks over here in NHRA are a lot better than the tracks we run at. So for us to use brand new parts that are actually developed for the tracks over here, they kind of give us a little bit too much power that our tracks can handle. So many of the teams actually do use like older parts for that reason too. We basically don't have a lot of track prep after the 8 miles. So we run the cars, they're running very loose, like at the top end. We have to use, more wing to get more downforce, to get the cars to stick, which usually makes the miles per hour a lot lower than over here. I mean, when I did run the record, the 378 record, I had a blow belt snap a little bit before the finish line, so that did affect the miles per hour a little bit, but I ran 301 miles per hour, which is over here very low. So you will see difference in both our ETs and our miles per hour, but when you're looking at what we are running, like how our cars are set up, the fact that we are running mostly used parts over here, you have 10 crew guys and you service the blower. We look at the blower, after the season is done, we have 4 guys on the crew. It's a whole other thing, and we still run 370s. So I say that our performance is really high for what we're doing, and it just it shows that the teams know what they're doing. Our crew chiefs are really, really good, and we just work with what we got, to be honest. And plus, if you look at the seasons too, if we have this year, I'm gonna have 8 outings with the car, which is 5 FIA runs, 1 extra race outside of FIA, a test session and a exhibition session. We don't have as much time to try stuff, to get data, as the teams do over here that running a full season. Plus, when you look at the teams going in now to the start of their season, they have already done testing. We don't do testing. Like when we do testing, it's basically exhibition runs that we use as testing once a year, and then the rest we test during the actual qualification runs. So that's our testing. So it kind of shows like that what we are working with is very different from what they're doing over here. But like I said, we have lower budgets, we have less events, we are working at it a whole other way. But in my opinion, it shows how impressive the racing in Europe actually is.
You guys be driving those things down track. No track prep at the top end. You guys be driving those things.
Yep.
So you've done all these other classes. You said you like the World Series of Pro Mod. Would you? Well, you pretty much already said she'd drive anything. Would you jump into a pro mod like that?
Yeah, I would say like if I got the opportunity to properly test before and do anything, I like the pro mod, and I think the 8 mile stuff they did now was really, really cool. And it's definitely a class I have had my eye on before. Like my dad raced pro stock back in the days, and we were gonna license. I was gonna license in a pro stock car like a few years ago before I started with the bike stuff. So we have been, dipping our feet a little bit in the door slammer stuff, or like door car things. But I will say, like, I'm fully focused on Top Fuel right now. I'm not looking to add anything to it. But of course, you know, if an opportunity falls in your lap and it fits in, or like in the future somewhere, I'm not against it. But for us, you know, all my money, my effort, my time, my energy goes to Top Fuel right now, because that's where my heart is. And I wanted to do this for so long, and I want to do it well, and I want to be a really good driver. So I'm fully focused on that.
All right, so Ida.
All right, so I gotta ask. Go ahead, Derek. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. So we were talking a lot of World Series of Pro Mod and stuff out here on all this East Coast stuff. But Ida, you got to come to the West Coast and check out the March meet. All right, we got Nostalgia Top Fuel, we got Nostalgia Funny Car
I
Fuel.
heard about it. Yeah.
Nice overlay. Got to come to the West Coast sometime and check it out. It's big time.
Sometime. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to make it to a PDRA event sometime too. I've never been to those either. There's a lot of stuff I want to do. It's just, as I said, now when I'm so focused on Top Fuel, NHRA is mostly on my radar, because that's where I want to be, and it's very costly to come over here to the States, especially after COVID and everything. Tickets have risen like skyrocketed, so usually I don't go over for other stuff than the things that revolve around this, but I always try to make something else at the same time. So like now, when we could actually go to the World Series of Pro Mod at the same time we go to an NHRA event, then it's perfect. So we'll see what aligns with something else.
Oh gosh, I knew that was coming. So I'm just gonna throw this out there, and you can, not answer it, but I like to have a little fun. If you could have your first race day, and you pick 4 different people that you have to race, and we're gonna just make this the dream come true race event, and you're standing at the end of Sunday with a Wally in your hand. Those 4 races for you that would be iconic for you, who would be the 4 Top Fuel drivers right now that you would like to race?
Well, I would say Antron Brown, is, since he has a background in bikes as I do. So I think that's very cool, because we have a similar background. And so, yeah, I want to line up against him sometime. I like Clay Milliken's background too, since he has also done kind of the tracks the same way I have done it. Like our tracks isn't, the same as NHRA done it. He also did like the little smaller events and other series before he got into NHRA. So I think he has a ton of experience there to use for the driving part. And I see similarities in our driving there. And then of course you can't leave out Brittany Force with, the numbers she's putting down and like the impressive performance they showed last year. I think that's definitely, I mean, she's the champion, she's the best. And if you want to be the best, you need to race with the best. And yeah, so she's up there too. And then, I mean, the 4th, there's so many good ones. So I would say, give me anyone.
All right. So we're going to put anyone in the first round. Out of those 3, who would you like to see second round, semifinals, and finals? If you could pick your day, this is your day now. If you could pick it, who would you say we're going to go with? Anyone in the first round? Who would you like in the second round?
Okay, starting from the other end, I mean, an all-girl final, me and Brittany, I will think that would have been a cool thing. Okay. And then maybe I would say Antron in the semis, and then take Clay in the first one. I think that would be good. Or we switch it up and do it the other direction. Start off with Brittany, we go Antron, and me and Clay battle it out in the end. I think that would be badass too.
All right.
And so we just keep playing off that. So mention drivers, but for you, I know the goal is to race full time in the States, but what are some tracks you would look for, or some races you look forward to racing? I know you've been to the U.S. Nationals, so what's some races or tracks you would like to attend and race at? Is it the Winter Nationals, the U.S. Nationals? What's some on your list?
Yeah, there's a lot of tracks I haven't seen. So, I mean, I've been here to Gainesville a few times. This is the 3rd time I'm here, actually. And yeah, really cool track. I think every time we've been here, it has been raining. So I'm definitely hoping that 3 is a charm. And this year it will be just fantastic weather. But then I've been to Vegas. I think Vegas is a very cool track too. So that's definitely one I would like to try. I haven't been to Pomona. I heard it's a quite short track, but that it's great atmosphere there. Definitely something I want to see too. Bristol, I've heard really good things about. Like it should be beautiful there. And then of course India. I mean, India it's so iconic. It's definitely one that you kind of must have on your list, to be honest.
She's got to go to Texas.
I want to
Six
see
Motorplex,
Texas
yes.
because I've never been. Yeah.
Yep, yeah. You gotta throw that one on there. And if you want to get, I'm gonna say year 2, maybe Brainerd after experiencing Texas, then Brainerd. That's a week-long process in itself. Like I think Darren, I might try and get Darren up here this year for that one. I don't know if there's enough zookeepers to take Darren to the zoo. I think his eyes might pop out or something.
Brainerd. Yeah, I've heard about it. We have an event over in Europe, the event at Hockenheim Ring, Nitro Olympics. It's not like Brainerd with the zoo, but man, it's so much people, and we have the night show where we, drive very late in the dark. And we had last year, I think it was 80,000 people on that event that weekend. So it's huge crowds, and people they just love drag racing. I've never seen anything like it. They want to buy everything you have. Like if you have a screw on your car, I'm sure if you can sign it, they'll buy it. And they just love everything we do. They love the lines for autographs, buying merch is so long you can barely count it. Everybody's having fun, having a beer, sitting in the grandstand, watching everything from jet cars to us driving the Top Fuels down track. And it's one of those racing mixed with a little bit of madness, and you love it, but like when you go from there, you're so tired, you're like fully done because it's just been marathon from when you start to when you finish. But if anybody wants to come to Europe, if they like Brainerd, they want to come to Europe, have a little madness and some good racing, come to Nitro Olympics.
I mean, it's already one of the places that I want to go and visit, and just like you said, a madhouse racing and get to experience all that. I mean, sign me up. Like,
hey Sam,
why not?
Hockenheim is crazy. Like it's like an arena type feel. Like the fans just pack it in.
Yeah.
Like you see fans behind the starting line. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, they do the Formula Ones there too. So like if you watch Formula One from that track, you will see like where our strip is actually. And the track is also really crazy because the track actually goes upwards and then down. So when you're actually at the starting line, you can't see the finish line. So when I drove there first year was with the bike, and when you're standing there, you don't see where you're actually going to cross the finish line. You kind of have to just aim for something like somewhere.
Oh.
And they also have like a little bump in the left lane. So I have a video from when I was driving the bike. I come into that bump, and it looks like like I'm flying. Like the MotoGP guys coming over a corner like that when you go over, and the crew don't even see when we cross the finish line. So it's a little bit madness, but
pause.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So as someone who's driven a car, who's gone, I've gone 100 mile an hour in a race car. No. No. Like I would like to see, and that's my thing. Like I want to see where I'm going. Like there's nothing about, you said it go, no. I'm gonna need to walk the track a few times before. That's not one of those where you just.
That's the thing. You're not allowed to walk the track in Hockenheim, because I wanted to do it this year when I came with the Top Fuel, because I had only done it in 2019 with the bikes. I wanted to walk the track before I took the Top Fuel down, but you're actually not allowed. It's like one of the rules they have. We're not allowed to step on the track until it starts. So I'm not really sure why they have that rule, because as a driver you really want to walk the track, but that's actually one of the tracks you're not allowed to walk down. So that was a little bit madness when you do that. But I kind of always feel like if everybody else are able to get down, then we can do it too. But the thing is, when you come in like that, you pretty much have to take one of the safe runs to just check the track and everything. If we were actually able to shake it properly, we could probably be a little bit more prepared. But it's just one of those events. Yeah. But it's a really cool event.
Look at
I
Sam's
can't
face.
walk the track. I can't walk the track before. No, no. I'm just gonna go back and put this comment up right here, Bobby. You were correct on all aspects. Yes. The comment of the night, Bobby, goes to you. Yes. No. No, that doesn't sound safe at all to me. Like, I don't know where I'm gonna end up. Like,
The other thing that's a little bit fun with that track is that it actually narrows down after the finish line, so you kind of have to merge together before you turn off.
see, no, nope. This is too. You know when they tell you, like, in life you got to look for the red flags. Like, like sometimes they're a blessing in disguise. Sometimes you got to find them out. The snakes do hide in short grass. Yeah, no, any track that I can't see where I'm going to end up, so that means I go like this, and it go. That's one too many. That's one too many things that tells me that is not. It might be fun.
It's not too bad when you're actually in it, but I know when I was gonna run first time at it, that like kind of merging together, that scared the shit out of me, because I was on the bike then, and I kind of felt like, how am I gonna do this real quickly? But it wasn't so bad. You actually have slowed down quite a bit before you have to do it. And the only thing that was, first time I drove the bike, they said that they wanted the bikes to turn off at the first turn, which is it's like the turn that the uni dragsters turn off of, basically. So I was going down, and there was a marshal in the middle of the track, and he was just like pointing that I was going to turn. I was still doing like 100 miles per hour, and I was like, there's no way I'm turning. So I just continued. And then when I went around and asked the other guys, like, did it actually want us to turn? Like, there was a guy at the track, and they said, yeah, they're always there, but don't do it. Nobody turns there. Like, so that was like my biggest surprise when I raced there. But I could tell you, when we did the top fuel stuff, there was no marshal in the middle of the track. They did not stick around for those. Yeah.
So Ida, you'll actually be at Josh Hart's shop tomorrow for the autograph session. Going to meet with some fans, sign some autographs. Looking forward to that at all?
Yeah, that's going to be really cool. I haven't been there, so I'm looking forward to see it. I've heard it's a really cool place, and I think it's going to be a lot of people. So no, I'm excited.
And I know you have a pretty big brand, as far as like social media and everything like that, and in your eyes as far as top fuel. Do you kind of get noticed a lot when you're out in public, or at the races at all? Do people kind of notice like, hey, that's Ida Zetterström from Top Fuel?
Not at home where I live, or like people know who I am, but to them it's.
No, I mean, like here in the States, when you're like at the races.
It's been more, because I would say I have quite a big following, and basically like 35% is from the United States. So, and of course a lot around the racetracks. So yeah, I have to say it's been quite a lot of that. Unfortunately, like last times I've been over, a lot of people have thought I was Leah Pruitt for some reason. I don't see the resemblance. But we talked about it after Gainesville, because last year at Gainesville, there was this woman. I was standing outside Leah's pit talking to one of the girls that are around her team. And one girl came up to me, and she like shook my hand, and she was like, I love you. We just came to watch you. I'm like your biggest fan. And I was like, should I break her heart or not? Like, and then
you just roll with it.
I came to PRI.
Roll with it.
Yeah, and when I came to PRI, we talked about this the night before, and I said like, yeah, well, I hope it's not going to be the same thing. First guy I met at PRI, he came up to me and he said, "You're Tony Stewart's wife, right?" So, yeah, no. Well, we race the same class, and we're both blonde. We're quite tall, but other than that, I don't see the resemblance.
That's like getting Antron and JR mixed up. I mean, dang.
Yeah.
In the same hotel, in the same weekend, I've gotten called JR Todd on, what was that, Monday morning when I was leaving Vegas? Monday afternoon. Yeah. On Sunday morning going to race day. And it's probably my own fault because I am wearing, something similar to what the teams are wearing, but I've gotten called Antron Brown. And at this point, like, you just go with it. And like, I'm like, dude, for one, I don't look like I resemble more of JR than I do Antron. So the fact that I've gotten called Antron Brown, trust me, I understand. But Hey, people, it's a good thing. People are noticing you. People, know that you're a driver. They know that you're out there, and that's what matters. So for you, take a moment, tell us where people can find you on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever other social medias you do have.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn and so on. It's Ida Zetterström or Ida Zetterström. So my name. On Instagram, that's where I'm the most active actually, and it's Dragster FIA over there. But if you do search Ida Zetterström, I do come up there too. And otherwise, YouTube. I'm actually trying to put on more YouTube stuff this year. We have some cool builds going on back at home. We have a 68 Camaro that we are LS swapping and putting twin turbos on. And we're also going to do Street Week in Sweden with Kim's little S10 pickup. So we have a lot of fun stuff going on there. I haven't been as active as I want to on my YouTube page. It takes a lot of time to edit those things, but yeah, I'm working on it. So catch up with me there, and hopefully I'll be a lot better at YouTube soon.
Monday Morning Racer chiming in.
That's
Team
awesome.
Ida all the way.
There you go.
Thank you.
So a lot of racing, a lot of travel ahead in your, future here. You are looking forward to the start of the race season, getting some nitro. Is there any particular place you're going to be this weekend in Gainesville where people can stop by and see you, or you just kind of all over checking everything out?
Yeah, I'll be, like you said, I'll be in Josh Hart's shop tomorrow at Bernie's, signing autographs with the drivers there. And then at this weekend, I'm probably going to be all around the track. I don't have a particular place I'm going to be, but if you do catch me on the track, please stop and say hi. I love to talk and catch up with other racers and race fans. It's what I love.
Maybe they can catch you at your newly proclaimed twins pit, Leah Pruitt.
Go there and ask for me. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, just ask her. She'll know where I'm at. There you go.
Oh.
Darren, you got anything?
No, that's it. No, just great to finally meet you, Ida. Like I said, I've been following you for a while, and it's great to see your rise as far as in the world of drag racing. So you got to come out to the West Coast, though. Come to Pomona, Phoenix, Las Vegas. Got to get out to the West Coast sometime,
Yeah, I want to do that. I've been to Vegas once. The only thing is like the travel for us to go over there, it's so long. Like it's at least, like 3 hours, 4 hours more just to go over there. So it's been a little bit easier to get over here. But yeah, I do want to come over to that side more. I do.
Awesome.
Well, we wish you the best. Thank you for coming on to the Power Hour. And we know this isn't going to be the first and the last time we talk to you. You have a bright future ahead of you, and we are excited to support you and have you come back and let us know how it's been going for you.
Thank you so much. I definitely appreciate it. So hopefully see you guys soon again.
All right. You have a good one. Thanks for coming on again.
Thanks.
If you want to take your vehicle's performance to new heights, you got to give it P. Like our original equipment technology, antifreeze, and coolant. Our formulas match the vehicle manufacturer's technology requirements so that we have the perfect match for every vehicle. That's one reason why Peak is among the fastest growing brands of coolant in America. We work harder to earn the trust of people like you every day.
Man, Darren, I love this comment.
I see that. Yeah, I saw
that right here.
I saw that. Yeah.
I love it. Like, that's the second best comment of the night, right there. Boom.
I mean, because
that like, right there.
Antron and JR look nothing alike. They're two different skin tones. So I was like, I don't see how you get that mixed up.
That's what like I said, I look more like JR than I do Antron, but it's in a hotel. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. That person probably hadn't been to bed yet. So, I mean, hey.
So can I jump in on this then? Because I mean, you got Ida getting mixed up with Leah Pruitt. You're getting mixed up with Antron and JR. It's like, dang, I feel left out. So can I throw mines out there then? Who I get mixed up with? Kobe Bryant. I get the Kobe Fro. I got the Kobe. No. All right, let's end the show. I guess we got to end the show. No. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Got a little static. What was that? Come again, please. Oh my god. See, look, now we're getting more laughing emojis. People are starting to sign off. They're like, why did this guy just say let's? But no, Darren, man, here it goes. Bold predictions, beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
For the first five races.
Wow.
If you got to pick a top five, top five, top performers or top five performances in the top five races, who do you give it to in each class?
Like, so pick the top 5 racers in each class for. So I'm.
Yep, that are gonna within the first 5 racers, who are gonna have the like if you had to pick one from Pro Stock, one from Top Fuel,
Okay, gotcha.
one from Funny Car, like who in those first 5 races do you think are gonna really have moments where we're like, man, I wasn't expecting that?
So let's start. So not expecting that, but Pro Stock Motorcycle. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Gage Herrera does. Taking over for Angel in that Vance and High Suzuki Hayabusa. So I'm really looking forward to see how he does. Hector Rana Jr. is back full time. He just announced that today. So look forward to see how he does. Remember, Hector Rana Jr. finished off 2022 strong. So watch out for Hector Jr. here in 2023. If we go Pro Stock,
I disagree. No. We're gonna go back and forth here.
Okay.
Wrong. I think we're expecting it out of Matt Smith because we've seen how much testing and his announcement of, he's going to be on a Suzuki and everything there. I think Angie's going to surprise everyone in those first 5 races.
I can see that. Yeah.
And I'm going to pick her to kind of get out to a decent points advantage in the first 5 races.
So this is more of the top surprises to start off the season. That's what you're asking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I can agree with that. Angie Smith, Matt Smith. I think I like that.
No. We're expecting it to happen with Matt, but I think we're gonna see it out of Angie. I think Angie's got the itch this year.
Mm-hmm. A bold prediction would be we see Tony Schumacher back in championship form, considering that the last time he was with Nev, he finished second in points. I could see that. It was a distant second, but it was a distant second, but yeah, we go with it.
Man, throw the curveball.
Steve Torrence was sweeping the countdown during that time, so I'm just saying. But yeah, I like that. I like that prediction from DRC too. That would be my surprise pick right there. Also, I'm looking forward to seeing Clay Milliken this year. I think finished 22 off strong. Rick Rare Racing has a new race car, so I think Clay Milliken can just come out surprises and do well as well. Nitro Funny Car.
No, see, look, you're trying to just jump because you don't want me to interject. I'm gonna agree with you there. We are gonna see bold. We're gonna see some very strong performances by Clay. Just some little chitter chatter that Clay and I have had back and forth a little bit. I think we're gonna see some stuff out of him. And also, and this one may surprise you a little bit, maybe not, but I think we are going to see a different attitude and a different demeanor out of Leah this year.
I like it, man. I like it. Shoot.
And me and DRC are, I think, and like I said, we're going to be surprised a little bit by what we see in the John Force crew, just because there's been some changes. So, they've been testing, they've been doing stuff, but between Clay and Leah, those are the 2 cars in the Top Fuel class that I think it's going to be a flip flop of what we're used to. I'm not saying that Antron's not going to have a good year. I'm not saying that Justin Ashley's not going to have a good year. We're not saying this. We're just saying surprise performances based off of what we saw last year. And what we saw last year was a new team, for Leah and some different changes, and they were trying some stuff. Clay has made some different advancements. So for me, Clay and Leah are going to be those 2 people that we see.
And I think Leah needs a good, healthy year. The last 2 years have been kind of a struggle. I think this is a year where she can kind of come back, and I think they will. I like that prediction right there. I think Leah Pure will come out with a real solid 2023. I like that.
What's the next class?
Funny car. Surprise. Who will surprise us?
J.R. Todd, and Alexis DeJory are coming to knock heads this year.
I agree with the J.R. Todd one. second year with that new super body. Guan went winless last year. Only won one race. So his last win on tour was Gator Nationals 2021. So we're coming up on a 2-year losing streak for JR. I think he's another guy that needs a good get healthy year. I think JR Todd's one of the baddest dudes in Nitro Funny Car. I think he bounces back here in 2023 as well. Picks up a couple wins, and I like that pick, JR Todd and Alexis as well. I like that.
I like,
And
like you
Timmy.
said,
I like Timmy
Alexis has
too.
been.
I like Timmy.
Yep, Alexis has been, dabbling in the mix here. We've seen her here and there. I think they're going to have a good steady year this year, and this counts nothing out for the rookie. But I don't think it's going to be a surprise for us. Alex Laughlin stepping in, to Funny Car. I don't think it's going to be a surprise because Alex has driven damn near everything. I mean, he's driven a school bus, he's driven a go-kart, he's driven a freaking ambulance, he's driven pro stock.
You see, he's going to
So
drive
I
Bushwhacker.
mean,
He's driving Bushwhacker coming up.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
so for me, I don't want to count anything out there. So I mean, on the rookie tour, don't want to count anything out, but I don't think it's going to be a surprise for us. And again, I'm basing this off of last year's performance. I like Mike Anderson's thing in there about Buddy Hall. Buddy Hall, you can't count him out. I mean, there's so much, but we just have to. I'm basically shooting it off of the top of the dome of off of the season that that people had last year. Going in the comments, I know we're just gonna go back and forth here. Alex is driving a not very good car, though. I expect DRC. We can get into this argument, go back and forth, and I kind of have this debate, with people there at PRI. But you can say what you want about the car. You can say what you want about funding or this or that. Don't put the blame on that. You know what I mean? Like you can say, yeah, is it a top-notch car? Say what you want, but that crew is working as hard, if not harder, than anyone else that's at that track. And for using what they do have, for what Jim Dunn has, and what they, what their funding is allowing them to do. I mean, say what you want, but I mean they're doing a damn good job. So saying that's not a good car, saying that's this or that's that's. I mean, if you have the finances and the sources to be out there, you have a lot better than some people have. That's all I'm gonna say. So I'm sick of hearing that excuse. I'm sick of this or that. Alex is a brand maker. He can go out. I mean, having Havilon a part of him, having different people that he's worked with, and his his name and people that support him and different things he does. I don't see that being a problem.
Well, DRC says not discrediting the team, but to say it's a championship car would be an overstatement. So basically, he's just coming with a different angle from it.
But at that point, any car that's out there any week, it doesn't matter, and it's shown true. I mean, if you stay consistent and if you can run consistent, you don't have to win all of them to be in championship form. If they come out there and let's just say they go on Sunday, if they go 2 rounds every week, if they qualify and go 2 rounds every week and they're staying consistent all throughout the year, you can't beat that, because there's going to be a car that doesn't qualify. There's going to be this, there's going to be that. So consistency in the longevity of this marathon is the key.
No, I agree. And Jim Dunn and that car have made amazing strides in the past couple of years. You talk about Pomona, the World Finals, dipping into the threes. That team, like you said, is working really hard. I think what DRC is just basically just saying, not discrediting the team and the hard work they're putting in, just basically saying there is a ceiling, if we're being honest, with the team. I think that's all he's saying, but no discredit though.
Yep. All right, let's move on. Next class.
Pro stock, the door slammers, factory hot rods. I'm gonna go Quadras. Great year last year, but I think they will surprise us. I think one of them, Christian, one of the Quadra brothers will win a race this year. That's my bold prediction. They're great on the lights. Picked up performance last year. Kind of tailed off at the end of the year last year, but I like the Quadra brothers this year. Fernando Jr. and Christian. I like those two. I think they're gonna surprise us this year.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be hard to get the GOAT herself off of the throne. I think she's making some really, 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 phenomenal passes, and what she's doing, and chip she has on her shoulder. She comes out, like you said, if she comes out hungrier than she was this year, that's a force to be reckoned with. I think we're going to see some, with Greg Anderson and everything there, I think we're going to see some different things. But I'm going to say Camry Caruso is going to finish in the top 5 in pro stock this year.
Mhm.
That's my early season bold prediction. Camry Caruso, top 5 finish this year.
I like it. I like it. Monday Morning Racer says last upset national event champion winner in funny car. If I remember correctly, you got to go back to Bob Bodie, Brainerd 2010. I think that's like the last true upset, like a really like true upset. I think Bob Bodie, Brainerd 2010. I think that's the last one. Where it's like that was a real surprise. We'll
Yeah.
go with that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my. See, we know, like, don't point out the obvious. We're just saying we think he's going to have a good year. And everyone continues to say, oh, this or that, blah, blah, blah. Like, we understand it. We're not saying that the car has never done that.
Sam.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Sam. Everybody's just saying.
Sorry.
Everybody's just saying that they're saying they're not discrediting the team. They're not discrediting the hard work they're putting. They're just saying there is a ceiling, with that car. That's all they're saying.
But is there real? Like, I've never discredited that there may be a quote unquote ceiling, but I mean, just like any given Sunday, anything can happen. Like the fact that we're putting a like, never mind. I'm be quiet. I'm gonna just be quiet because this is what I don't understand about drag racing fans is that they're so opinionated, but yet they're not doing any. If you're saying that and there's a ceiling on that, but you're saying, oh, well, they did this and they did that, and Jim Dunn's such a great person. Go help them out then. Go support them. Go like and share their posts when they're saying stuff, or when they're selling some of their old stuff, share that to one of your drag racing friends that may need those parts. Like you cannot sit here and discredit them, but yet you're not doing anything to say, well, like we're so negative. Like no one wants to.
And like Lee says, the competition is that tough. A round win, sure, is a win overall. Wait, that's what he said. The competition is that tough. A round 2, sure, a win overall. No, that's what he's saying. Yes.
Next class. We're done at this point.
All, right?
At this point, we're done. Yeah, I think we did. I don't know.
You going to Gainesville, Sam?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Well, everybody, if you're not going to Gainesville, if you are going to Gainesville, don't matter. Tune in to Competition Plus this Sunday, 6 p.m. Pacific. No, it's actually, I'm going to start the show at 5. So 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern time. For the first time ever, inside the NHRA, we'll be streaming live on Competition Plus. Come here. We're going to break down the race, show all the highlights, have fun, give your opinions on the race. It's going to be a lot of fun. So come join us Sunday night inside the NHRA. We're back, season 3. My boy Dave W in the comments is going to be on the show. We're about to have some fun here this weekend. Maybe Mighty Mac too might make an appearance too. So tune in. We're going to have some fun. First race of the year. Let's go.
So what happens if that Jim Dunn car goes rounds? Will all you guys eat your words? Just saying. I'm here for the controversy. I'm here to yak it up with you guys about drag racing. And that's what it's all about. Just going back and forth, continuing to drive the needle forward, continue to talk about it, continue to love the sport that we love and that we get to yip yap and chat it about and yak it up about, as Lee would say, about drag racing. I mean, we all have our own different opinions, and that's what, it's great about the place that we live in, right? We have the freedom of speech and say it the way we want to. And I mean, it is what it is. I wouldn't say it's the best show ever. I think it's a good show. Hey, Dave, there's ceilings to this kind of stuff, okay? There's ceilings to this kind of stuff. Or in the great words of Drake.
Dang. Wow. I just thought, dang. Shots fired. I'm catching straight bullets right now. Wow.
In the words of Drake, there's levels to this, man. There's levels to this. And that's what it's all about, right? Is continuing to talk about it. And the fact that you guys are in the comments and we can go back and forth, man. If Alex goes P1 in quals, Mighty Matt, all I'm saying is if he does it and you're on Darren's show, that's all I want to hear out your mouth, man. But no, it's I just want to support people that have, when I first started going to NHRA events and I could just walk into their pits and talk to them. You have to support the people that have supported you. And over these last 3 years, I've been able to walk into more pits and get this and just learning these drivers and these crews that are out there, man. And like I said, I mean, I think they're one of the hardest working crews, and yes, for what they have, I think we're going to see some great stuff. And another one, hey, I totally didn't even think about this one. I like Shane Tucker. First of all, that car, if you haven't seen it, looks slick.
It does.
Like
It does.
slick. But to have him come back, I mean, that's a comeback story within itself right there.
Your Pay, right?
So,
That's the sponsor, Your Pay.
yep,
Hauler
yeah,
looks great. The car looks great. Yeah, it's a great looking scheme. I like it.
yeah,
There you
right
go.
there.
Yeah, that's nice. I like it. I like
That
it.
I mean, it's something. You know what that reminds me, and I know you're a sneaker fan. You're a sneaker fan. That like all I'm gonna say is this, and it's funny that I got these right here because I just got them. But like, could you
Ooh,
not imagine the Jordan 6s in this color wave? Like,
those are
just
fresh.
imagine. Look at that color wave, but just Jordan 6s with the purple. That like, oh, that's another thing. If you guys like sneakers and you're sneakerhead like myself and like Darren is, it's kind of cool that, like I said, those just came in the mail. Go and check out Drag Racing. I've got a page that just started as fun because I've noticed it around the track is that you will see a lot of drag racing fans rocking some sick sneakers up at the starting line. So on Instagram, you can follow it. It is Drag Racing Shoe Game. Drag racing _ shoe game. Go on there. You'll see some pictures of Darren's sneakers and other people's sneakers. Go over there, like that. Slam and Sam, Outlaw Performance ENT. Got my main man, the brother from another mother that's related to the Amishes guy. Brother, that's Darren. Hot Rod ENT. And your official title with Competition Plus is again what?
Assistant editor or Competition Plus.
There you go. So this has been episode 118. Our homeboy, the Monday Morning Racer, Lee Craft. Thank you for all you do. See that Dave is weird.
Slam in the show, Sam.
What's wrong
Slam,
with
just
that
in the
man?
show. Sam, just in the show. Just in
That
the
that
show.
man's weird. But yes,
In the show.
till next time, y'all. Till Gainesville, and to another year of Nitro Racing. You guys keep the pedal to the metal. God bless. And this has been another episode of the Competition Plus Power Hour. Till next time, y'all. Signing out. Peace.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S. Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away. Competition Products, race parts sold by racers since